Ladies and gentlemen, here in the room, is there anyone here that would like a printer? Yes, but a few people saying yes. Who was the nearest? I mean, it's probably the man in the middle there with the beard. What's your name there, sir?
Stuart.
Stuart. OK, Stuart. You would like a printer. I'll explain it. There's no catch. I'm offering you a free printer. It is an Epson Stylus Photo R800. OK, although I'm not sure why I'm showing you that, because this is the printer here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the printer that Stuart could be taking away tonight. OK. My only condition, Stuart... There's no real catch. There's only one condition. You're not allowed to sell it on or anything. I'm only offering it to you if you want a printer and you're going to use a printer. OK, it is a little old. I couldn't find one for sale in any major British retailer, but in the States, you can get one through Amazon.com, where you will find a new one. It's available at $998, and a second-hand one is available for $899.99. And basically, Stuart, I'm offering you a $1,000 printer for free if you want it, OK? Now, I'll be honest, I didn't buy it. It is an unwanted gift. I'm giving it away because I don't like it, and it's only fair, Stuart, before you take it off my hands, that I explain the drawbacks, OK? I used to have a lovely printer. I had it for 20 years. But after 20 years, having successfully printed something in the region of 40,000 sheets of paper, it sadly died. So I had to get a new one. Now, a few months ago, Mrs. Gorman and I were visiting old family friends, and just as we were getting into the car to leave, I said, "Oh, but is there a computer shop near here? I need to get a new printer. I might as well do it while we're on the way home." And he said, "Oh, don't waste your money buying a new one. I've got one you can have. I've got 2 printers. I've got one I don't use." I said, "You can't do that." But he insisted. And after a bit of toing and froing, I gave in. Now, at this stage of the game, I appear to be quite up on the deal. Not only have I got a $1,000 printer for nothing, I've also saved the 40 or 50 quid that I was going to spend on a new one. But then I had to fill it up with ink. Now, with my old printer, that was a simple affair. It had 2 ink cartridges, black and colour. But the Epson Stylus Photo R800 doesn't have 2 ink cartridges. Oh, no, 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 no. It has 2 different black ink cartridges. It has photo black and matte black. It also has a red cartridge, a blue cartridge, a cyan cartridge, a yellow cartridge, and a magenta cartridge, as well as something called Gloss Optimizer. And no, I don't know what that is either, but I suspect that David Cameron drinks it. Incidentally, the only thing I've ever created that, if I was to print it, would require all those colours is that. Nothing else ever in my life. If you go direct to Epson's own website, you can see that it does soon tot up. Basically, £17 a cartridge. To fill that machine costs more than £130. I am living in a world where it costs me 3 times as much to fill my printer as my car. He meant well, and it was a lovely gesture, but as presents go, it's like being given a puppy that only eats gold. How expensive is printer ink? Let's think about a quantity we can understand, OK? Let's imagine, for example, a standard jam jar, OK? Let's imagine that this was full of printer ink. We all see what that is. We all know what that looks like. How much would that cost if it was printer ink? Let's find out by referring to the various liquids price per jam jar chart, ladies and gentlemen. All of these prices are in pounds. Now, if this jam jar was full of Dom Perignon vintage champagne, I think the cheapest it could possibly be is something around £70 to fill that with that good champagne. If it was full of human blood, ladies and gentlemen, it would set you back around £123. If this jam jar was full of the One Direction perfume, You and I, that would cost you around £145. But if instead it was full of printer ink, it would cost you £598. 600 quid! What the hell is this stuff? It's nearly 9 times as expensive as vintage champagne. Why aren't they launching ships with printer ink to really show off? If you run out of red ink, it's actually cheaper to open a vein, which is what you want to do when you find out how much the cartridges cost. And incidentally, I do not understand how a jam jar of One Direction scent could end up costing £145. Not when you can buy a jam jar of Harry Styles scent for as little as a tenner. On eBay, anyway. Yeah, look at that. Harry Styles, fart in a jar. £10. Mouse over image to zoom. No, thank you. I don't think I'll bother. Quite happy as I am at this stage. The person selling this, the fart dealer, if you will, describes it as 100% genuine. Harry farted in this jar for a laugh when we were younger, and I've just found it in the garage. Of course, if Harry denies it, then the law of fart rhymes proves he did indeed supply it. We know that much. On the other hand, if this man really is dealing it, the same laws suggest that he has smelt it, and I fail to see how he could do that and keep it in the jar. But I digress. My friend called me a few weeks ago. He said, I just want to see how you're getting on with that printer. I was honest with him. I told him I was going to buy a new one as it was too expensive to run. And do you know what he said? He said, yeah, I found that as well. That's why I got rid of it. A cheeky sod. So, before you decide, Stuart, I think it's only fair that you realise the printer's last two owners have been unhappy with it, OK? Now, to make matters worse, the printer won't print anything if just one of the inks is deemed as low. Okay? I had to print my boarding card for a flight one time. I'm not going to tell you who I was flying with. Let's just say it used up an awful lot of orange ink. Right. Shortly after my return, I discovered that the printer had decided it was out of yellow ink. I didn't discover I was out of yellow because I was trying to print something yellow. I was trying to print a black and white document. But the printer refused because it was out of yellow. That's like going into a cafe and saying, I'll have a coffee, please, black, no sugar. And them saying, I'm ever so sorry, sir, we're out of milk. Makes no sense at all. This is my multi-ink biro. It ran out of red ink years ago. Guess what? The others still work. This 90p biro is more sophisticated than this $1,000 printer. Do you know who I think probably gets the most inconvenient presents of all? The Queen. The Telegraph love cataloguing the weird things she's been given. And as you can see, according to this piece, the weirdest thing she's ever been offered is horse sperm. If you don't believe me, here it is in white and black, ladies and gentlemen. She was on a trip to Ireland when a racing trainer offered to let one of the royal mares visit her stallion. This is a stallion that normally has a stud fee of £5,000 plus, which means, by my reckoning, that a jam jar of horse seed based on an average horse ejaculate of 50 mils, would cost you 30 grand. That is off the chart. Literally off the chart, Emma. Right, off the chart. I've just had an awful thought. What if that is gloss optimizer? Oh, you can laugh, but I've heard that David Cameron drinks the stuff. Now, look, I keep getting distracted. The point here is to work out if Stuart wants this printer now that he's aware of its pitfalls. There is another option, Stuart. I have recently been given something else that I can't quite work out what to do with. You know, sometimes, if you're a performer, you might not know this, you turn up at a theatre, a venue, and there's a little present waiting for you in the dressing room. Well, tonight, there was a really weird present waiting for me in the dressing room. I'll show you what it is. I was most surprised. They've never done anything like this before. I don't know what was on their minds, but it was that, ladies and gentlemen. My own sledgehammer. I didn't think I was going to find a way of using it, but Stuart, I hate this printer. If, by telling you about this printer's pitfalls, I have dissuaded you from wanting this printer, I could use my sledgehammer. The decision is yours, Stuart.
I don't really think I can get it home on the train.
You can't get it home on the train? The sledgehammer's bloody getting it. Right, here we go. Here we go. All right, Phil. Careful through that door. Mind your feet, sir. There we go. Health and safety. Oh. I'll see you after the break.